I just wanted to stop in and say that we had a great weekend, and I'm telling you, it's changed my life. This is the craziest thing that uh, we've experienced together in our married life so far. And it's bringing a lot of changes, and I'm excited about it. Not even nervous about it. It's just like an answer to everything. And in the midst of all the craziness and difficulty we've had lately, it feels really, really good. So here's the thing. We've had a lot of ups and downs with health, finances as a result of health, and finally, the family issues where my children, are have chosen to become estranged from us, and all that entails, the pain of that really entails. But because it's not my first rodeo, uh, I'm able to be a lot more objective about it and recognize the signs from the past that are coming back around. And so I'm handling that, I think, as well as can be expected, maybe better than you might expect. I'm not joyful about it, but I'm certainly not going to let it rob me of my joy and my future happiness. So, with that being said, we've been looking around for our next adventure, our next place that we want to call home. And we've traveled to a few places, kind of doing little scouting missions for that. We know that it's out there. We know that we'll find it, in time. But we have a pretty serious checklist of what has to be right and fit for our lifestyle that we want to move into. And so that becomes kind of difficult because you may love the town, but there's no work prospects. Or you like this house, but you really hate the area that it's in. And, all of those things, the headache of trying to find a new place in the world. And so I had this idea because a long time ago, I had been a member of Trusted House Sitters. And so if you don't know, it's a website platform, kind of like Airbnb, but you volunteer to go watch people's houses, take care of their pets, farms, whatever they've got going on, and you feel you're qualified for. And so you can negotiate back and forth. If you kind of click with that person, they may select you to come and stay in their house. And it's not paid, no money is exchanged. But it's an excellent way to get to travel and see new areas without the big outlay of expense and accommodations. So I had thought, well, this might be kind of a nice way for us to see even our local area and do some overnight trips or whatever without the expense. And so I hopped back on there and renewed my account and whatnot and started looking around for some things up in the mountains because we had said, we really love the mountains. We know that's where we want to be ultimately. Our last move got us really close, but not in the right town for us, not the right culture for us. But we wanted to give it a try again, So lo and behold, up popped this last minute request for someone to come and house sit. And it was in a tiny home, in a tiny home community. And it was just like 30 minutes from the mountains, like right in the foothills. And we thought, whew, this could be a great opportunity to knock some things off of our list of, what can we handle, what can we can't, what can we not. And so we didn't really hesitate. We jumped right in and asked for it, and we got it. So we went up and checked it out this last weekend. And first of all, there was some pretty big I guess reservations, because we didn't know if we could live in a tiny house. We've looked at lots of them, but we just didn't know if we could go that small. The house we're in now is just over 1,200 square feet. The house we had up north was like 3,600 square feet. It was, huge house. And I've lived in everything in between. But we didn't know, can we go down to like 400 square feet? Two of us sharing the same space? So we were eager to try that out for real. The other thing we didn't know is, could we like living in a tiny house community? We're not really like neighborhood people. We live on a nice street now, but we both have both loved living in the country more than anything else, and it's kind of how we grew up. So we wanted to have that again. So we didn't know about the whole community lifestyle. We didn't know if we would like the town that this was in. And we didn't know if we were going to really love pet sitting on this platform. So those are all the things that we had to decide and get the opportunity to figure out for this weekend. Sorry, I had to hop up for a minute. So I'm back. Right in the middle of that, hey, I'm so excited about this. All right. I really, we were both, honestly, both of us were really shocked and surprised at what this weekend did for us. It answered so many of our questions about what direction we kind of wanted for our future lives. And because of what's happened here and the changes in our family dynamics, it's really changed what I thought I was going to have in the next chapter. And in a weird way, it's been kind of freeing. Not welcome by any means. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. But it's definitely it's changed my whole outlook. It's changed me as a person. And it was a little sad last night because my husband said, I don't mean any offense by this, but I can see that it has changed your light and the way that you just want to give with an open heart to everybody. And now it feels like that's all been kind of pulled back. And I'm sure that he's right. But it is what it is. People can only abuse you so long before it becomes a matter of survival. Are you going to just succumb to the abuse and roll over and die? Or are you going to stand up for yourself? And I know it's not the popular hip thing for parents to stand up for themselves against emotional abuse from their family members, but here we are. And I'm not going to apologize for it. I've spent 50 years fitting into other people's wishes and desires and molds and sacrificing, and it hasn't worked out well for me. I gave because I wanted to, and I loved because that's who I am. But the pictures and the dreams that I played of the future were dependent on people reciprocating that love, and that's not the case, at least at this time. So we had some questions about how we could do this and if this would be, the kind of life for us. And it was a resounding yes. This is the first time in my life that all of the pieces of a place have clicked so well. We really liked the town. They have a beautiful park system. They have a nice, cute little downtown, but there's still all of the, bigger conveniences around the stores that we like. It was right around from my favorite grocery store up there, the chain that I like, and still in a very rural country setting, beautiful trees and green hills all around, the mountains in the distance. And then the property itself, the community is heavily wooded. It's not like so many of these where they they just take out all the trees and then cram people in there like you're in a campground. You actually had a little bit of space and lots of shade. And there was walking trails and a dog park and a nice community area with a fire pit and swing. And, it was everything we would want on our own property without us having to maintain everything. And that is most surprising because that's been our dream, to have our property and do what we want with it and all of those kinds of things. But as we've progressed in this, where it's not only health issues that we have to be concerned about and the prospect that, I may not be able to work or he may not be able to work at some point, and we need to survive on one income. It's not just that. It's that we don't really have anyone to leave it to. I'm not going to reward family members who don't have anything to do with me or only show up when they want something. I'm not going to spend years maintaining and investing in properties that I was doing as a legacy, kind of, because I didn't have money to leave them. And so, I was trying to kind of make sure that they had some real estate, life insurance, things like that. And if you don't want to spend my next 20 or 30 years with me and have a relationship with me, I'm not going to work so hard to leave you something. It doesn't make any sense to do that. Because I already gave all that I had to give you at that start in life. So if you don't want to reciprocate and have a really, adult, mature, functional relationship, I'm not going to keep pulling the weight for both of us. And that's no surprise to anyone who really knows me, because I don't sugarcoat it. I try always to be kind and loving and generous and good to the people around me. But when you take advantage to the extent that this has happened, everybody has their breaking point. Everybody has their limit. And I found mine. So it opens up different possibilities and a different way of life. And I think it's going to be really, really good. The final question was, could we exist together in 400 square feet? And with the layout that this home had, we can. We've looked at some that were an instant no, but this felt instantly like home. It just, within hours, we felt like we belonged there, like we should have always been there. It's the only place I have been that I literally saw myself in like 20 years being old and slowing down and still enjoying that home and that community. It was just a really different experience for me, because I thought, well, I'll probably just keep moving forever. I'll never find my forever home. So it was kind of a big deal. So now the question is, how do we extricate ourselves from our life here and grab on to the new life that we have found that's going to be the best for us? So those are some of the things that we're now, trying to get all the moving parts to fit together. But I think they'll come together. It doesn't happen by magic. I think we make our own opportunities. And a lot of it hinges on what you're able to give up and what you're willing to let go of. I've said for a long time, when you want something, you have to receive it with an open hand. If you have a $5 bill in your hand and you're holding it, and someone hands you a $100 bill, but you have to reach out and take it, how are you going to take the $100 if you won't let go of the 5? You have to open your hand to receive. And so that's been the mental shift for me, is what am I able to let go of in order to grab a hold of a different kind of life that will be better for us, really. So a lot to think about. I'd like to know if you have made any big major moves in your life, and if you've had one of those experiences where suddenly you're just like, I don't belong here anymore. I belong over there. Now I just need to get from point A to point B. I've got to make the leap. So that's what we're looking forward to, and that's the hot topic of discussion at my house right now. I hope you're having a great day, and I will check in with you another time.